call the meeting to order. I ask you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Tonight's consent agenda consists of the following items. Item A, approve the minutes of the following. Special City Council meeting, March 28th. Special City Council meeting, April 18. City Council work session, April 18. City Council regular meeting, April 18. Park Commission meeting, January 9th. Plan Commission work session, February 13. Plan Commission meeting, March 13. Item B, reschedule the City Council work session and City Council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, July 4th to Wednesday, July 5th at 5 and 6 p.m. due to Independence Day. Item C, authorize the city administrator to approve a quote from Bergen Incorporated to conduct asphalt maintenance services on various streets in the city of Winston for an amount not to exceed $66,752. Item D, approve the use and operation of outdoor food stands and trailers in the city parks and property on June 23rd, July 21st, and August 18th in conjunction with events hosted by the What Up Committee, and waive any applicable permit or fees approved by the Winston Police Chief. Item D, approve a 1 to 4 day temporary on-sale liquor license for the Winston American Legion Post 407 at Mill Reserve Park in Winston, Minnesota on Friday, August 11th and Saturday, August 12th in conjunction with the Winston Summer Festival. Item F, approve licenses to sell tobacco products and tobacco-related devices from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 for the following. Ape Hangers LLC, Kegs Bar, Casey's General Store, BG Retail, that's Dollar General, Husson's Liquor, and Jan L. Schlegel Enterprises, the Blue Note. Item G, approve an auxiliary firefighter job description as presented and authorize the city administrator to advertise for auxiliary firefighter positions. Item H, approve the pledged securities that Security Bank and Trust Company has purchased for the city of Winston for the month of May 2023. Item I, approve the building permit report for the month of May 2023. Item J, approve the financial report for the month of April 2023. And item K, approve the claims list for June 2023. That's the consent agenda. I'm looking for a motion to approve that.
Mr. Mayor, I'll motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. I abstain from voting on item H.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We've got a lot of new business site, so we're not going to waste a lot of time. We're going to jump right into it. First item on the agenda is the Storm Sewer Improvement Project and award recommendation. I'm going to turn over to Neil. Take that.
Yes, we are considering a motion to award contract to Schneider Excavating and Grading for some proposed work. And Jake is here from Bolton and Mink.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Yes, we did receive two quotes. They were very, very close. Schneider was the low at $142,737. They are also a contractor that was awarded the Herald Journal Services projects. They have other work in town hanging out there, so it works well to somewhat combine those together and get all that work completed. Done a lot of work with them in this area and are quite confident in their abilities, and therefore recommend awarding to Schneider for that amount of $142,737. Just as a quick background, this is the five separate small drainage areas that we've been talking about over the last however long it's been now, two years, something like that. So
You've worked with them before?
we have, yes.
Any questions for Jake?
Is one of the storm sewers kitty corner to Bryan's service station? And I don't know so that's Main and...
There is one on Main Avenue, yes. So it's probably the one you're referring to.
I couldn't quite tell it on the map.
I don't know if I'd say it's in that exact area. It's adjacent to the park, to the Weinbeck Athletic Complex. There's one on Main Avenue.
Okay, this would be straight across from the basketball courts to the south.
Then the answer to that would be no.
Okay. Happened to be walking one night and it's completely full of dirt. So I don't know if we're not aware of that or,
I am not aware of an issue there. I'm not sure if it's a maintenance issue or if something else has happened. The last time we did that evaluation, that one was not on the radar.
okay. Well, that answers that. Thank you.
I can follow up with the Public Works guys tomorrow and see if they know anything or if they can check it out or would like one of us to.
Okay.
Any other questions? Otherwise, looking for a motion?
Mr. Mayor, a motion to award a contract to Schneider Excavating and Grading Incorporated in the amount of $142,737, including labor and materials necessary to complete storm sewer repairs and improvements in the city of Winston.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item B, construct a wetland project easement. I'll start with you again, Neil. You want to turn it over, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll just turn it right over to Mr. Salisbury here.
Thank you. Yes, so the wetland project, this is related to a study we did pertaining to some ideas and options to upgrade the water quality of Winstead Lake. This one was brought forward by the county. They obtained some grant funds, put up an agreement with the city, secured grant funds. City did the design, and that has been bid. We do have a low bidder. It hasn't been awarded yet because there's a few house cleaning items. So this is one of those house cleaning items, as required by the county, is to get this area into an easement for ease of future maintenance, repair, etc. So no cost or anything for the easement, other than minor expenses to get it filed and recorded. And then with that, we'll be looking to get the construction contract awarded. Litzow Excavating was the low bidder. So similar to the County 5 project, we'll have to get that done through the city and the county again, make sure everyone's on the same page. But we are looking to have that completed here at one of the next 1 or 2 city council meetings, since assuming this gets wrapped up. So, questions on this one?
When does it start and end?
Well, to be determined once we get it awarded, but it looks like it'd probably be fall construction.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
And then just to follow up on that a little bit further, depending on how late in the fall it would be, there might be some restoration type items in the spring. Again, there's some cleanup type items, depending on how quickly things can get moving.
Nothing else? Looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion on item B to consider a motion to authorize the mayor and the city clerk treasurer to execute a perpetual conservation easement, for drainage and management, and flowage to grant access to McLeod County to conduct inspections and complete future maintenance activities related to constructed wetlands located in Sunrise Estates.
We have a motion. Looking for a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next item, Resolution R2321, conditional use permit for 206 Linden Avenue East. Want to start that off, Neil?
Yeah, we're looking at basically exceeding what the square footage is that's allowed for a conditional use permit for a detached building. And we talked a little bit about that, but I'm actually going to turn that over to Mr. Anderson.
Good evening. So what we have here tonight is a conditional use permit. This came forward with a related request for variance. The variance and the conditional use permit were held at the last Planning Commission meeting. The Planning Commission did approve the variances. There was a height variance for the total structure from 16 feet to 20 feet. A lot coverage variance because it's in the shoreland area from 4.3 feet from 25 to 29.3, and then a sidewall height of 10 feet to 16 feet. And those heights match the existing structure that's out there. This is an addition to the existing structure. And basically, the existing structure already exceeds 1,000 square feet. And what they're looking to do is add another 720 square feet on for a total of 2,400 square feet. And so the conditional use permit would be to go from 1,000 to 2,400 square feet. The addition would be to utilize it for parking of a RV structure that's currently parked along the side of the structure right now where the addition would take place. So that being said, we had some conditions with that, and the planning commission did add a condition regarding the building materials shown in the elevations that were provided by the applicant, so.
Okay, so they've got to improve the whole building?
Correct, that was the condition that was looked at. The building elevations did show the entire structure with the new materials. I think it's like currently like might be a tin material that's on it right now. I'm not exactly sure 100%, but it would be an upgrade, and that was a condition the planning commission included with their recommendation for approval.
Any discussion about the home on the property?
There was a little bit, but since that's really not a part to the application, they didn't have a lot of detail to that discussion. I know that needs to be upgraded and finished as well. And one of the main comments was that this addition with the new materials would be an upgrade from what's currently there, and that's why they were in favor of that request. So,
Were there any comments from the public?
there was not any from the public, but there was a member that was not at the meeting, and I can't remember the exact comment, but I think they were not in favor of the
He wasn't in
request.
favor because it was outside the scope of what he thought it was originally intended.
It's a pole structure, is it not?
I believe that is correct.
And we don't allow pole structures built in the city any longer, correct? I mean, it's probably grandfathered in,
That is correct.
right? I have a real problem with this property because the house, for all practical purposes, is abandoned and has been for at least a decade. I wish we would consider tabling this and giving it some more thought and getting some more detail on it, because any money that is spent on that property should be put towards the house to make it livable, if that indeed is their intention. Or is this just going to be a glorified storage unit for them and nothing gets done with the house? I would not want to live next to that property the way it is right now, even if the shed was redone. The shed will look great. House looks terrible. That's all I've got to say.
And I will make one comment, as far as the building permit goes, one of the conditions is that they do require a building permit prior to any construction. That would have to meet the current city codes from any sort of building code standpoint, and that would also include meeting the code from non-pole building structure. So any addition would have to be potentially a stick frame type of structure to meet the code. So I don't know how they would do that from a building code standpoint, but that would be one of the requirements, so.
Still doesn't do anything to the house.
Correct.
So, have you driven by the
Yes,
property?
yeah, I drove by before I came here tonight again to look at it. So.
Oh. I understand that, I've been told that the motorhome is where they stay when they come out.
Yeah,
So are we allowing RV parks in the city of Winston now, or what? I wish we would table this, so.
Jumping on what Jeff said, the owner wasn't present, and I would strongly consider tabling so we hear from the owner, and then we can ask him the questions that you have. I don't know if he's in a rush with this,
I
but
don't know.
to me, if you're looking for some variances, I think you should have attended and cleared it, answered the questions, and maybe if we do our due diligence, maybe we should take a step back and postpone it until we get him to appear before the council.
Mr. Mayor, would you consider a motion?
I will after if we have any other discussion, if there is any.
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
I'd make a motion that we table the conditional use permit at 206 Linden Avenue until the property owner can come forward and discuss with the city council what his intentions are with the property overall.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, Resolution R-23-22 Comprehensive Land Use Plan Amendment. Just jump right to him?
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right. So actually, we have 4 items here in a row that are all related to the same request, so I'll kind of touch on them all with a quick presentation here. So this has kind of been ongoing for a while. It's the Grass Lake Farm second edition being replatted into the Grass Lake Farm third edition, and with that replat, they're looking to take the lots and create a site for 2 apartment buildings, 2 31-unit buildings, and potentially some other additional townhouse buildings, one on the lot to the east of the proposed 9th Street Road. With that being said, there was 4 items up for request. One is the comprehensive plan amendment, changing the designation on the future land use map from low to medium density to medium to high density. So the apartment buildings would meet within that density requirement. A rezoning of the property, which would follow the comp plan amendment from R1 single family residential district, or R1A I should say, to R2 multiple family. And then a conditional use permit for a planned unit development stage plan, and then approval of a 2-lot and 3 outlot preliminary plat to be known as Grass Lake Farm third edition. The Planning Commission actually reviewed these items back on March 13th and recommended approval of all 4 items at that Planning Commission meeting. We have to review with the DNR. The city had actually taken the step to look at withdrawing this area from the shoreland area because there's some shoreland requirements that came into play with the overall design and the project itself. After taking some steps and holding a public hearing to actually remove the shoreland from the zoning ordinance. And the reasoning for that is this area does not drain to Grass Lake. It actually drains east and then north through a series of ponds, wetlands, stormwater piping, things like that, eventually to a ditch that drains to Lake Winstead. There is a clause that was in the DNR statutes that allowed for that. After some back and forth with the DNR, they said they would not support that request, but did say they would look at supporting variances, which is what we then brought forward to the Planning Commission at their last meeting on June 12th. And those four variance items, basically, or 3 variance items, I should say, was to exceed the density requirement in a Tier 2, and when you do a shoreland PUD, you have to have tiering. Tier 1 is the closest to lake, Tier 4 is the furthest away. So they exceeded the Tier 2 density, requested a variance. They exceeded the lot coverage on both Lot 1, Block 1, and Lot 1, Block 2. And then the height requirement of the building went from 25 feet in a shoreland area to 29 feet in their variance. Should be noted that none of those variances would be required if there was no shoreland overlay over this property, so it would all met the standard zoning requirements. The Planning Commission, acting as the Board of Adjustment Appeals, did approve those 3 variance requests at their last meeting. So that allowed the items we have before you here tonight to move forward at this point. As I said before, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of those 4 items, and the comp plan one is the first one here on your agenda. There are conditions listed within your report for each of these items, so if there's any specific questions, I can take those at this time.
I had the opportunity, as some of the other councilmen did, to attend the first Planning Commission meeting, and then I watched the next 2 on television. And I thought the Planning Commission was very thoughtful and thorough in their work. I don't think there's a decision that the council makes that everybody's going to agree with, and this is one of those. There was a question by a citizen of why the complex couldn't be built on the old football field. And the reason there is there's many. One, the city doesn't own that property. 2, it's owned by a family called the Weinbecks. They also own where the baseball field is, and they donated that property for use within the city as long as it's athletic fields or parks. And then 3, my father used to hunt ducks where the football field is and the baseball field, and over the years they filled it in with cement and tar and gravel and everything else, so it's not even buildable on that area. So I just wanted to answer that question.
Any other comments, questions, concerns? You've explained all of them.
Yeah, I kind of went through all of them. I should make another note that if these 4 items are approved here tonight, the next step for the applicant would be to come back with the final plat, and then there would be a easement vacation and right-of-way vacation that would get approved along with the final plat to replat the new streets in the plat being proposed now. But that would be the next step that would come forward if these were approved tonight.
If there's no questions, we'll take them one at a time. Somebody wants to start us off.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-23-22, approving a comprehensive land use plan amendment, changing the designation of property on the future land use map from low to medium density residential to medium to high density residential.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item E.
I'll motion to adopt ordinance 0-23-03, amending the official zoning map of the city of Winsted, Minnesota, as referenced in chapter 15, section 1501-034, letter B of the Winsted City Code by rezoning property from R1A, single-family residential district, to R2, multiple family residential district.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item F.
I'll make a motion approving a conditional use permit allowing for a planned unit development stage plan for Grass Lake Farms, 3rd edition.
Read the bottom. Right after that. You forgot the whole bottom. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Last item, item G.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-23-24, approving the preliminary plat known as Grass Lake Farm 3rd edition.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
One other point I should make on this, the application for the shoreland removal is technically going to be withdrawn because that was technically applied for by the city. So even though the planning commission made a recommendation, it's just being redrawn off. At this point, no action should be taken on that, so.
Thanks, John.
Okay, we're getting closer.
Yes, we
All
are.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've come to the organization report. Tonight's the Winsted Area Chamber of Commerce and the Winsted Summer Festival. Jeff, you're up.
Hello, everyone. I am Jeff Campbell, the Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce. Sarah Fasching is the President. She wasn't able to make it tonight, so I'm filling in for her. Give you a quick rundown of what we're up to. And we are running the festival now, too, which you know, so kind of included both of them in this review. As I mentioned, Sarah Fasching, she's President with Flagship Insurance, myself, I'm the Vice President with Better Homes and Guards Real Estate. Don Rodine, she's a Treasurer with Security Bank and Trust. We have Directors Chip Gugamus with Ameriprise Financial, Monica Herzog with Budding Ideas, Lauren Roddy, she's with AZZ, Terry Fasching, Avenue Title, Emma Oglesby with 210 Salon, and Julie Heinen, she's our Secretary, she's with the Herald Journal. That is our current board and board of directors. A good group of people. Got a nice mix in there of different ages, which is important to keep things going. Got a bunch of old people like myself on there, start rubber stamping things and don't get fresh ideas and things tend to die. So we're real excited to have a nice mix of people doing different things. And I apologize. Amy Johnson with Kevin E. Drug is also on the directors, one of the directors. So sorry, Amy. All right. Our events, we do a lot of events. We have some programs that we have for our members, but starting with the beginning of the year, we have our banquet. Some of you have been there, and I always encourage you guys to come. It's a good time to rub elbows with a lot of our members, business members, business community. At the banquet, we do celebrate our members' accomplishments. We have awards we give out. We usually have a speaker, some type of entertainment. Through the years, different things. Last year, we just did a casino night. We just wanted to get people to mingle. A lot of times, you sit down at your table and you sit with your group, and then you eat, and then there's a speaker, and then the program, and you never get up and move around. So the casino theme kind of got people up and mingling and meeting each other. So we've done that. We did a murder mystery one time. That was good too for just getting people to come out. So that's always in January, February. The springtime brings our Easter egg hunt. Last year we did about 4,500 eggs we put out, and they're picked up within about 3 minutes, I think. So it's always a good turnout with that. We have a couple bicycles we give away now, and yeah, it's just it's one of the easier things we do, and it involves a lot of families, and it's a little entertainment for the kids, so it's always good. Women's Expo's in the spring also. That's a separate committee that runs that. That's been going on, I don't know, it's been a long time. Actually got started back when I owned the Blue Note yet. My sister-in-law started doing it just to get something going in the ballroom. And then when we sold, the chamber kind of took it over. So that's, how long ago is that, Neil?
Yeah. It was a while.
18, 19 years ago. So it's got to be on 20 years. And that's just been a real strong event for us. It's usually 50, 60 vendors, 400 some people come through. It's free to go to. We do charge for the vendors, so it is a little fundraiser for our organization, raise a couple bucks with it. But it's free for the public to come into, so it's a nice all-around event for us. The summertime brings the Summer Festival. And that this year is, we kind of formatted a 2-day format a few years back, and we're sticking with that. We have a Friday as our fireworks. That's a big event for Friday. Saturday is a parade. That's a big event for Saturday. And then new this year, we have bingo. We reached out, to back up a little bit, our goal was to reach out to our other organizations in town and let them do an event and get them involved with this. It's a community festival for the community, and so we've reached out to the Arts Council, reached out to the Lions in the past, the Winsett Lake Association. Winsett Lake Association always runs the canoe race, obviously tied in with the lake. So going back to new this year, River of Life Church is running bingo. That's something new for us on Saturday afternoon. And I reached out to the Winsett Arts Council to do a talent contest. So I'm not sure if they're going to call it Winstett's Got Talent, but that's what I call it. So it'll be a talent contest Saturday afternoon and bingo. So 2 new things that we always try to get new things going. We're a small group. We always have 10 ideas, but there's nobody to do it. So very fortunate this year to have those 2 organizations step up and put on a couple events that'll help our Saturday out. We work closely with the Winston Ambassador Committee with this event, as it's a big part of their weekend too. So with their coronation and the parade, and they bring in 15 to 20 visiting royalty for our parade, and they do that for our Winter Festival parade too. So they're a good group, and they're part of our committee. So the fall brings our business trick or treat. We started doing that, I think, in 2018. Started out with about 300 kids that came through. Now we're up to about 600. So there's different businesses. They just keep track of their candy they give out. And been the last 2 years, especially with COVID, that first year out was big, and it's about 600 treats are given out. Might be a few kids that come through twice, but we let them come through. So that's a great event. It just brings a ton of people to town. The restaurants are full. you know, and again, another free event, and the businesses are great. We have manufacturing businesses that just set up tables on sidewalks and just set up. I got some that set up by my office. There's plenty of room. They come in from the outside and drop in, and it works great. So, in our winter time, of course, is the Winston Winter Festival. We encourage open houses at businesses on Friday and Saturday. We have at the Blue Note Ballroom, we have Santa come in, and we have prizes and things for the kids to do, free hay rides. Then, of course, it finishes off with the lighted parade in the evening. And again, another just a great community event that other organizations do things too. The Arts Council joins us with that. I know the Lions have done chili feeds. Now the VFW they did a dinner last year. I think it was a pork chop dinner. It was a great success. So another thing to get people together. So some programs we have for our members. We offer welcome bags. So if you're new to town, we had the Winston ambassadors go out, knock on the door, and there's a welcome bag. And in that bag, we have all our members just give us, if it's a knick-knack or if it's a coupon, free oil change. You know, I in the past, I worked a company called Welcome Neighbor, and that's what we did. That was the business. So the purpose of it is to get those businesses in front of the new member of the community. So where am I going to get this? You come into town, and where am I going to get oil change? Where am I going to get my haircut? So we always encourage them to offer things for free. Don't do a buy one, get one. Just say, welcome to Winston. There's a free meal or a free haircut, oil change, whatever it might be. So those bags go out to new members. We have membership meetings. They're held fall through the spring, and we've had great success with that lately. We've had members that they host the whole meeting. They offer free lunch. They get to talk about their business at that event. So we've, through the years, we'd have 15, maybe 20, and now we're 40 plus at our meetings. So it's been really good response on that. I think ATHC is sponsoring our September meeting that's already scheduled. So if you're not getting connected on these emails or whatever, let me know. We can get you as city staff to get you on that email so you're aware of these lunches, because nothing better than a free lunch. All right, so we are looking into a few things. We are looking into grant programs for new businesses. If it's straight cash, working with building owners, maybe on 6-month free rent, work with TDS on free internet for 6 months, and then just straight out a cash grant that would come from the chamber. If anybody that's new that wants to open up a business, that's something we're looking at putting together. One thing I've been working on for a while, is it some permanent signage. If you come through town, you don't know we have a chamber. There's no signs anywhere. There's no outside of, I think we have a flag on one of the posts, light posts, but to have a sign that we could have our events on. We have the current one at Hanlon Park that works. You just plop in the letters, but to get something permanent that's electronic, we have a pretty good start on funding, and it's something that we're looking at moving forward on maybe within the next couple of years. So those are a couple of new things that we're working on. I'll leave it open for questions.
Volunteerism, because of the chamber, it keeps the spirit of volunteerism alive in the community. And I think communities our size typically don't have the number of events that the chamber does. And it's one of those things that makes us different, than other small communities. And so I commend you and the president and the board for all the time and effort you put into it, because I'm sure there are times when it's difficult to get volunteers, and the volunteers are the board.
Yeah, I gotta recognize our some businesses that really stepped up to the plate these last couple of years. They actually have committees. I'll note AZZ. We gave them a award at our banquet because of that. They actually have a committee that's what they do. They get together and go, what are we doing next month? If you might have seen it on Facebook or other social media, they've done things for for Monarch, for the senior citizens there, gifts given out, meals served, but that's what they do. They have a committee just for that. What are we going to do in the community next month? And there's a lot of that. And you know, all of them, they're all, when it comes to supporting, we can't have a summer festival without, without sponsors and funding. So AWI and you know, all the manufacturers, Milliburn, AWI, it just stands out because that's the fireworks show. You know, there were, with COVID, everything went up and so did fireworks. We used to be at a $10,000 show. Now this year our budget's at $13,500. AWI contributes $9,500 to that. So that is kind of their show. And it's very appreciative of that every year. But just that kind of spirit too, that feeds all of our nonprofits, our volunteers. You got to have some support financially to make it work. So, and that's been a huge part, and that's what makes Winston different. Also, it's always my preach when I'm talking of you can have organizations, but they can't do much without funding. So, What Up, same thing. We have movie licenses that we need to acquire for that. And our sponsors give every year for that. All of it, you know, it's always very supportive, and we're grateful for that too. So,
Are you going to be looking for new directors in the next year or two?
Yeah, there's 2-year terms, so it's looking at signing up, Tom, or
No. Is there any you want to kick off?
well, I'll take a break. That's fine.
Okay.
Like, it's been 20 years for
I
me.
thought you did.
2003, yeah, it'll be 20 years this year. So, but I know what we do is important, and we have a fun group, and they get things done, and you know, they're all busy. I got to commend our president, Sarah Fasching. You know, she's got 2 kids, a 12 and 8-year-old, and what Laura is, but she's at a baseball game tonight for her son, and that's why she can't be here. But, you know, I'm an empty nester now. It's a little more free time, but, you know, it's a lot of work to organize, to keep us organized and herd us cats around, so.
And I think a testament to what you do is the attendance. I mean, you have a lot of families attend the events.
Yeah, they are, and I know, you know, a lot of you guys have been there, and it's the parade for downtown, and for Winter Festival, it's full, you know. And again, those people are in town, they're all come in, they're spending money, it's supporting us, you know, members, and a lot of them, they see support from our manufacturers, and hopefully they look at that and go, well, you know, who's that? Maybe I'd like to work for them. You know, going back to AZZ, that they're out promoting all their community stuff they're doing. Well, you know, if I'm looking to work somewhere, I'd probably lean that way, just because I like their attitude and what they do for the community, and those are the things that, like I said, kind of keep us going. So.
And of course, the parade is special because Justin leads it in the police car.
Yes. I always tell him you got to keep it under 80, but he usually does a pretty good job.
We're very fortunate we have good corporate citizens.
We do. Very, very good. Actually, all of them. You know, like I said, some really stand out, but we've never been turned down, and they're always out to help us in our causes. So, wouldn't happen without them. And with the city too. You know, we have a meeting tomorrow with the city, going through all our stuff, the permits, the closing of the streets off, and between Public Works is huge. They do a lot for us. The police department does a huge amount for us. So, yeah, we're all one community putting this thing together, and we all been working really well through the years. So, and it shall continue.
Any other questions for Jeff?
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep,
Thanks,
you
Jeff.
bet. Thanks for having me.
We've come to the open forum section of the meeting. If anybody has anything they want to address the council, please step up to the microphone and name and address. And
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Angela Stovner. I'm at 685 6th Street, North Lot 15, Winstead. Been here about 5 years now, and I just wanted to address a couple situations. I like helping in lots of different ways. There's lots to learn these days, and a couple of things I wanted to address. First would be, these days more and more, we need to grow our own food and take care of ourselves, and I would be willing to even put more effort in. I'm pretty busy with parents and kids, but for example, I'm in a trailer, but I feel like we should all be able to have chickens if we would like chickens. If there needs to be a certain law or rule about roosters, I mean, then that's a whole separate thing we could get to later. The point is, we should all be able to have chickens if we have the space, because, I mean, dogs poop just like chickens. You don't have, you could have a number of loud ones, but they make the same amount of noise, and it's really, like somebody said prior, there's a whole lot full. A football field, we could use that. And we could even have like a town co-op type of deal. And I'm going to plan on coming back and getting more involved. And I can come back. There's so much information I know I can't get out in a couple minutes. But I feel like you should not have to have 10 acres to have safe food. The other thing would be RF radiation emitted by wireless devices and infrastructures. And I have some questions. Well, why are they on the water towers? If you start learning and looking up, there's a lot to learn these days, but if you understand vibration and resonance frequency of like a human body and water, and then if you start looking at some things, I'll just read a couple short paragraphs. And I have printed off copies of a couple different things I can leave, and there's even comments on some other ones separately that would help you with more questions. Some things I would be interested in to know and to just to put out there. Internet. Do the phone companies cause more radiation, making the environment radioactive? Smart meters cause even more radiation. If you look around, you're seeing smart meters put in on our water, on our everything. My notes are scrambled. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. Whose job is it to look out for the city? I mean, is it the mayor's job? Is it everybody? Is it collective's job? Or is it everybody for themselves? If you look and you have an Apple phone like I do, you can read, it even says you should not hold the phone on your person. Water holds frequencies. Okay, so I'm just going to read you a quick short thing from the 1,000 pages of evidence filed in Landmark 5G case against the FCC hearing set for January 25th, the Children's Health Defense Team. And I have, I'll leave some copies. It says on the bottom their website you can look at. And the joint appendix comes with 440 documents. The table of contents alone is 54 pages. Because of the sheer volume of evidence, it is to be divided into 27 volumes. The court requires 7 sets of the joint appendix, and therefore 189 binders, each containing approximately 500 pages, were shipped to the court. The printing and shipping costs for the joint appendix amount were more than $15,000. Okay. The joint appendix includes references of thousands of pre-reviewed scientific studies showing DNA damage, reproductive harm, neurological effects such as ADHD, skin and radiation sicknesses, which radiation can be all things that we're seeing these days, which seems to be the most widespread manifestation of wireless harm. The evidence shows effects on the brain, including impaired blood flow and damage to the blood-brain barrier, cognitive and memory problems, and effects on sleep, melatonin production, and mitochondrial damage, cause mechanisms of harm was also established. Oxidative stress, a mechanism of harm that can lead to cancer, non-cancer conditions, and DNA damage, was found in 203 out of 225 studies. Then it goes on, and just you understand some of this. I don't know if you know. Basically, the body absorbs frequencies, good and bad, and can penetrate our bodies. So the thing that I'm going to leave here basically talks, I think this one talks about, like, kind of helps you understand it. So then if you understand that, then you can, and kind of, it's all about connecting the dots, I think, a lot of it, and learning. And, yeah. Also, Amazon sidewalks. They're going to be coming out with Amazon sidewalks at homes, gas, electric, water, smart, everything is on smart meters. I guess I'm planting a seed right now. Don't seem very organized, but I think it's important and for our health. So now I don't know where to go from here. I don't know when to come back. I don't know if you're going to answer any questions or what do I do now?
I would say if you need some further discussion, you should probably check with the city administrator and get you on for a workshop and come prepared with a subject. Start with one. Just see where that goes. Any problems with that, anybody?
No?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
And who is you? Okay, I'll talk to you when we're done. And then can I leave some of these
Sure.
for you all to read?
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Anybody else? Open forum? Justin, I have one question for you. Police car we ordered a year ago, what's the status?
There is no update. Last time I reached out through 1044 to St. Cloud, the response back to me was that I should not check back in every week. I believe one of the council members I forwarded that message to as well, so there is no update. But it is on order, I do know that.
Thank you much. Come to the open, we've come to the city administrator update and announcements. Neil, you have anything?
I actually do not. Just finished the first week here of selling in, and you guys gave me some stuff to do now, so
You'll get
we're gonna hit the ground running.
Tom, Jeff?
I have
Jesse?
nothing.
Nothing.
Looking for a motion then to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.